In space they can't hear you scream. Da 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 da. Welcome to Richie 150's channel! Hey guys, it's Richie 150 here, welcome all back. Today we are studying the crab. The little crab that breaks the camera angle, apparently. The little crab decides to hide underneath the tire for its own safety, as it lives in Shrek's swamp. The crab, with its 6 little legs and its 2 claws, hops down into the dark abyss, where it rummages around in the seaweed, or whatever, seagrass, and slithers by a giant fish that could have easily made him prey, because he turns invisible, almost, in the grass. But as he climbs on the wall, even though he looks like a big rock, he is still attracting attention to himself. He jumps over and bothers some carp, but yet he is still after the delicious morsels that are above his noggin. He jumps at them, hoping to achieve his prey. With his little glittery clacks, he demands justice. He demands food. He bothers the sturgeon, and then he bothers his brother. His brother decides to go along with him for a bit, but after watching how he jumps, he too jumps in joy, for a feast shall commence sometime. As the crab decides to wander around, eating small fish, it wonders, when will I myself become food for a fish? Probably never, as I don't leave this cave, thought the crab. But this is only speculation, for a crab is one but many creatures in the swamp. As the crab tries to climb a wall that it possibly cannot, because its pointy legs are not pointy enough, it leaps back into the hole it once came from, dragging along with it its counterpart friend. And as they near the cave, a giant morsel of food awaits above them. They gladly tell each other, how can we reach it? So he tries to climb the wall to reach such morsel. Yet, this morsel has attracted more crabs. He lands on top of another one, hoping that they can team up and pile up to get the delicious meat. As they are doing so, more crabs gather around to get that giant piece of morsel meat. One leaps, and then a big crab comes along. This big bertha of crabs does a signifying dance showing its dominance, much like how humans T-pose for dominance. The huge crab snipped a piece of the meat for itself, thus encouraging the others, and it brings it down to them so they all might feast. That is the way of the swamp crab. And this has encouraged them to attack the bigger morsel. But the big crab has done its teaching, so he decides to leave, as the big morsel is being dragged down by the smaller crabs, who follow the tutelage of the great big crab. But the food does not go unnoticed. The carps decide to eat the delicious morsels that the crabs have brought to them. Thus, the crabs are becoming bulky and big, and they start attacking the carp that is trying to steal their food source. The crabs have learned a valuable lesson, that now the carps themselves too can be good food. And walking along on his journey through the grass and up the side, he realized, I too can become a big bertha. I too can become massive. The swamp crab carries out its beautiful little life, hopping along with its friends looking for big morsels left behind by bigger predators. that take no interest in crabs. Now they are playing a game of hide and seek. The first crab decides to count to 5 before looking for his counterpart friends. Sadly, he'll never find them. In an act of creativity, go down into one of the tunnels of the swamp, seeking for his friend. But, of course, a little snack never hurts. After eating part of his snack, he decides to shoo off the disgusting bugs that are also eating the same snack as him, for he does not like bugs. And he learns from his mistakes, not letting the little guppies get the last meal, otherwise they'll become 2 super predators to eat him later. It seems like his snacks have been noticed by Tetris. He decides to look around, wondering where his next snack could be, as Tetris swarm around him, above his head, eating all that could have fallen to him. The crab then goes off in its wonderful little life, trying to climb the walls of its own prison that it has entered into. The tunnel itself is its own prison, and as such, it'll never be able to escape. He has finally found his escape, not by climbing the walls like he thought he could, but by taking the path that was obviously the right choice. The crab has still not seen his end by a giant predator, even though he has feasted on the remains of a predator. This crab may grow to be big as Bertha, or he may die a young small crab. But that is not for us to know, as we leave this crab to live its wonderful life in Shrek's swamp. Probably Shrek is bathing, is why it's so murky.